Hey guys, and welcome to the video. Today we're going to do a little bit of a first impression on the Rocketbook Fusion. It just came in on the mail, and I just want to let you know how does it work. And so today I want to give you a couple of impressions. What does it feel like when you write with it? What does the quality of it look like? I heard some feedback on the binder. What's my impression on the binder? And how is the pen quality in terms of the Fusion pen that comes with it? So I'm going to go and give you a first-hand impression of what it's like to work with and use the Rocketbook Fusion. So what I'm going to do is just get a little piece of paper so I can compare the writing on what it feels like to write on the book, but also what does it feel like to write on paper. So here is the pen that came with it, and I also got a couple of other pens, which has like some nicer grips and things like that, and they're clickable rather than with the cap. It's only a couple of bucks. The other thing that's interesting is that when they talk about the friction pens, these are pilot pens that you can just order on Amazon. And so there's a whole host of different types of pens that you can get, and they're the friction ones. So just taking this friction pen, let's try it really quick. Hey, this feels all right. I would say that this pen feels like, I don't know, kind of like a gel pen, if you will. I think it seems to put down some good ink and have some good color that goes with it, but maybe not as much color as what you would see, or as much ink would get put down as in a classic pen. So it does seem a little bit different. And if I write with it and then smudge quickly, on paper, you're not getting a write and smudge effect. It dries very, very quickly. So now here's the Rocketbook Fusion. Let's give it a shot. Let's see what it's like to write on this one. Okay, so we're gonna open it up, and right away, the appearance looks really nice. It comes with this little all-in-one little overview of like what you can do with it, and that's great. So now we're gonna see what happens. The pages, does it feel like paper? I would say it feels more slippery than regular paper. You have a little bit more, yeah, definitely more slippery. So I would imagine that if I write and put my finger on it, it'll smudge quite a bit. Let's find out. So if I write and then smudge, yeah, you're gonna get a little bit of a smudge if you do it really quick, as you can see there. But now let's say if I write and then I let it dry there, it says in the booklet, if you wait about 10 seconds, you should not get a smudge. So I think it's been about 10 seconds. Let's see what happens. Yeah, they're about right. Yeah, so only maybe one of the spots smudged up here, but that was because there was like a little bit of extra ink there. So now let's see what it's like to write on this. Definitely feels more slippery, if you will, than on regular paper. You're not getting a lot of that same like scratchy type of feedback as that you would get on regular paper. So I think that would take a little bit of getting used to. The nice thing about it is that the point on this particular pen, the friction pen, it is a very fine point. So you can really get pretty precise and pretty small if you like to write small. I don't really see much of a difference in my writing on paper versus on this sheet of paper here, which does really feels like it's some sort of plastic infused paper. So if we go back up here, again, no smudges, the house, wow, look at that. When you really put a lot of ink down, for sure, even though it's been a bunch of seconds, you're still getting a lot of smudging there. So you can see that this really is kind of more plasticky than regular paper. So that would not happen on regular paper. The words do dry, but I think you do, if you get the Rocketbook Fusion, you will need to let the ink dry for a period of time before you really flip pages. For sure the house would have smudged. If I would have closed this, it would have leaked onto something else, onto another sheet. So first impressions, I guess, are that it's nice, but for sure not exactly like paper. Now erasing, let's try that. Wow, I would say that erasing on this, just with this little tip that comes with it, really good. I cannot see any of the ink remaining. Now, if I go and use it on paper, let's see what that looks like. You know what? Paper is really good too. Regular paper erases very well. Possibly better than pencil. So maybe part of this review is to let you know that these friction pens are great. Now this pen that I'm using here is the one that came with it. It's the Pilot Friction Ball is what they call it. And like I said, the erasing is pretty good. This box, I can still see a little bit of a faint outline of a box, so maybe it's not 100% perfect, but in general, for pen, really good. And the other thing that I'm noticing is I'm not getting, when you erase with a typical eraser, you get a lot of, you see me wiping like this, but there's actually nothing for me to wipe like in a regular eraser. I'm not seeing a lot of debris that's coming off of this eraser. It just takes it and it disappears. There's nothing there, nothing to wipe. So that works really well on paper. I would say on this Rocketbook though, it's working even better. I am not seeing really any remnants of, when I really go to erase, I don't see any remnants of what I had written there. So that is a plus for the Rocketbook Fusion. Maybe the big negative for the Rocketbook Fusion is that it will smudge. So I made a mistake writing the word hello. Erase that, looks good. And this is working really well. Okay, so then the other thing that they talk about with the Rocketbook Fusion is, well here, after this word, I'm still seeing a little bit of leftover residual words after erasing. Now we'll try using the water and we'll see if that works a little better. Maybe I'll erase a couple more things. Yeah. If I really look hard, I can see the word here, this, and you, and a little bit of a squiggle here. So it's not 100% perfect. Now, if we use the water, this is the cloth that came with it. Feels like a typical microfiber cloth, nothing too special, but let's see what happens when I get it a little bit damp, how this does when we remove. Okay, this absorbs water really well. I'm wringing it out just to make it a little bit damp, and let's see what happens. Okay, so that I now cannot see the word this. Sorry, my finger has a little bit of ink on it, so that's coming back. Let's see if I can get rid of this word you, which you probably can't see on camera, but let's see here. I can see it. 100% gone. As far as I can tell, I can't see anything. So let's get rid of the rest of this. Wow, that comes off really easily. Wow, that's pretty cool. So I imagine you would have to wash this cloth every so often, but I don't know why I'm continuing to wipe. It's really clean. Actually, you know what I see is a little bit of some leftover smudge marks from, or leftover like little hairs coming off of this fiber or the microfiber cloth. So that's pretty cool. So now let's go through the book. You saw what it was like to write. Definitely a little bit more slippery than regular paper. For sure will smudge quicker than paper. As you can see, if we do this one more time, if I do like a little circle here, that's a lot of ink right that I put down there. If I do that same circle here, That's a lot of ink right there. Let's count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see that this, no smudging. This, I can already see the center part is going to smudge. Yeah, the whole thing smudges. That's after 10 seconds. You can see the difference there. So for sure, the Rocketbook is not exactly like paper when it comes to dry time. But when it comes to erasing, using a little wet cloth to erase, super great. And when you're using the included eraser on the Fusion pens, also pretty great. This sheet looks almost, I'd say it does. It looks brand new. I also don't see on the very first use a lot of impressions or dents. Like when you press on the paper, like I wondered if I would get kind of indentations on here, which would make it tough to use again and again and again. And I don't see a lot of indentations. So now let's flip through and see. This is the task page, Rocketbook Fusion. This looks like the calendar page. This is a monthly calendar page view, whereas the one before was the weekly view, so you get 2 weeks. These are objectives, key results, action plan, and reflections. That could be nice from like a project standpoint. Then we have the ideas and the rating and the next step. So if you're doing an ideation, and here we have dots and more dots on both sides actually, which you can't see. So I guess you could write on both sides of the sheet of paper if you wanted to, tons and tons of dots. And then after the dots pages, we go into the lined pages. And the lined pages seem pretty nice. Like the lines aren't too far spread apart. It looks like a regular sheet of paper. And then at the end, just line pages and the cover. So this was just to give you a little bit of an impression of what it's like to write with the Rocketbook, maybe show you the smudging with the Rocketbook, just so you're aware of that, and to give you a couple of impressions. So hopefully this helps you make a decision. I think I'm gonna enjoy playing around with it, but what I will need to really pay attention to is that smudging. That might end up being really annoying, especially, like, let me do one more smudging thing. So if you write a sentence here, like this, and then you want to write another sentence down here, all is good unless you need to then edit something back up here. Now your hand is going to be sitting on some of these other squiggles that you've made, and the question is, well, will it smudge? Because if it does, then that's going to be a little bit annoying in terms of using the sheet of paper, and you're going to have to really pay attention to where you put your hand. So I'm going to count to 10, and then I'm going to see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it's for sure been 10 seconds since I've written these 2 lines. Let's see what happens. So if I come in here, I put my hand down and want to add something, not bad. Actually, look at that. It's not smudging. This one for sure is not smudging. These lines are very fresh. Let's see what happens. Also not smudging. So I guess it really just goes to show that if you're just doing a single line, not too bad. In terms of the smudging factor, the 10-second rule really plays. But if you do something where you're coloring in, this one is going to take a longer period of time. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's try this one. A tiny little bit of smudging. This one has already been 10 seconds. Let's give it another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This one's been over 10 seconds, probably not exactly 20, but let's see what happens. Lots of smudging. So if you are going to be coloring stuff in, that is going to take some time to dry on the page. And it might take upwards around a minute for that to dry. So this is the first look, first try with Rocketbook Fusion. let me know what you think. If this video was at all helpful, if you want to see something different, let me know. The other thing that I'll say is that I think the color, this orange, is great. Really like that. The spirals, spiral binding, I heard a lot of people talking about how that spiral binding was too big for the pages, but I'll tell you, it does not bother me. It seems appropriately sized. It doesn't seem humongous. It seems to let the pages flip pretty nicely when you're going from page to page. It doesn't bother me. It seems to be just fine. So all in all, I look forward to getting to use it. Hopefully I don't experience a lot of smudging on regular day-to-day use. And you know, maybe I'll try these QR codes a little bit later. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you do, give it a like. If you want to see something else, give it a comment. If you have a different impression on Rocketbook, also love to see it in the comments. Talk with you later. Thanks a lot. Ciao.